Many players have scripted lifetime memories for themselves. Let's now take a look at all the medalists from this edition of Paris Games 2024, along with a quick analysis from the member of contingent versus the medals that India has secured so far. So let's talk about it. If we talk about the medal, the athletes, sports and total members, first to begin with the silver medal. So the silver medal was bagged by athlete Neeraj Chopra in the sport of discipline of javelin throw. If we talk about the total number of members who represented India in track and field, it was the highest, which was 27. India secured silver from athletics. Talking about bronze medal, the entire hockey contingent comprising of 19 members, they got a bronze, and this was also their consecutive second bronze at any edition of Olympics. In Tokyo also they bagged a bronze, and at this edition also they bagged a bronze, defeating Spain. There were two bronze which were bagged by shooter Manu Bhaker, and she did it in style. If we talk about the overall contingent, there were 21 members who participated in shooting from India at the Paris Games, and Manu Bhaker came out brilliantly with bagging two bronze medals in individual categories. So with this, Manu Bhaker, after Norman Pritchard, also became the second Indian athlete to become a double Olympic medalist in same edition of Olympics, and the first after the independence era. Moving on, let's take a look at other medalists also who created glory for India. The Manu and Sarabjot together bagged another bronze. So talking about shooting again, a 21-member squad represented India in the sport of shooting at the Paris Games. Manu Bhaker bagged her third bronze with Sarabjot Singh, and then Swapnil Kosale of shooting also happened to bag a bronze in 50-meter rifle three-position event for Team India at the Paris Games. There was another bronze medal, the fifth bronze medal, which was bagged by Aman Sehrawat, wrestler, and with this feat he also became the youngest Indian wrestler to bag a bronze medal at an Olympic edition. If you talk about the wrestling contingent, a total number of 6 wrestlers participated from India at the recently concluded Paris Games. So this is all about the medalist who created glory at Paris Games 2024 for India. Moving on, now let's also take a look at India's performance in Olympics over the years, particularly since the year 2000. So, if we talk about Sydney 2000 edition, India was positioned at 71st position, and India then bagged only 1 medal. And also, if we talk about another editions, the Rio, Tokyo and Paris editions are there in front of your screens, in which India bagged 2 number of medals in Rio edition, 7 number of medals in Tokyo edition, and 6 number of medals at Paris edition. Going back in Athens, India got just a single medal, and they were 65th in the medals tally. In Beijing also India did not do very good. But then if we talk about the last 3 editions of Olympics, from Rio to Tokyo to Paris Olympics, there has been a significant increase, and India couldn't manage to match the same level as Tokyo Olympics. They were just short of a single medal. But then overall, if we look at the number of contingent, the number of players who represented India at the Paris Olympics, it was 117, and India did a great job securing 6 medals. The highest ever medal tally since 2000 has been only in Tokyo Olympics, when India bagged a total number of 7 medals, and they were ranked 48, and this time in Paris Olympics they are ranked 71 in the medal tally. So this is so far India's position at different Olympics editions since the year 2000, since the Sydney 2000 Olympic edition. Moving on, it's now time to get you another quick stat fact from this edition of Paris Olympics. So let's take a look at the top highlights of Paris Olympics 2024. First of all, the medal events. There were 329 medal events. So you can imagine the number of athletes who participated at Paris Games. 329 medals were up for grabs. Moving on, if you talk about the medal production, that also is a very significant part. 5,084 18 grams of iron was from the Eiffel Tower itself, which was incorporated to produce the medals at the Paris Games. Isn't that environmentally friendly? Now, talking about gender equality, there were 20 mixed gender medal events, out of which out of 32 spots, 28 reached full gender equality. So if we talk about gender parity, this is also a new milestone that the Paris Games has achieved. Moving on, let's talk about Olympic records. In the process of Paris Olympic Games, 125 Olympic records have been broken rather, across 10 different sporting disciplines at this Paris edition. We are talking about the overall international highlight of this Paris Games. Now let's also talk about the world records. 32 world records have been broken in 8 different sporting disciplines at the Paris Games edition, making it even more memorable for all the players and for all the spectators as well. Now let's also talk about the NOC and IOC participants. Now 91 NOCs and the IOC Refugee Olympic team have won the medal, surpassing all the records which have been set in previous Olympic edition. And let's also talk about the first timers. So 4 NOCs won their first Olympic Games gold medal. Who are these 4 NOCs? They are Botswana, Dominica, Guatemala and St. Lucia, who've created history being the NOCs at this edition of Paris Olympic Games. Now let's also talk about ticket sales, how much the fan engagement was actually there on ground. Over 9.5 out of 10 million tickets were already sold out at the Paris Olympic Games, making it a wonderful spectacle visually for all the fans there. And if you talk about the own house, like the India House, you would remember India had its own India House at the Paris Games. 15 nations hosted their own houses at Paris Games. So this was also a very unique experience for all the fans of those particular countries going to Paris Games to attend those events. And if you talk about the attendance record, that's altogether another milestone. Rugby sevens, handball and beach volleyball set a new attendance record, which also, suggests us the popularity of this game, which is on a rise these days. So this is altogether the overall record, the overall top highlights of the Paris Olympic Games that has been created at this particular edition of Paris Olympics, and why and how it was so unique at this time.